Hello, I'm Mary Rendina, Executive Director of the Nevada chapter of the Community Associations Institute, and I'd like to welcome you to the CAI media presentation. CAI provides comprehensive education to board members, homeowners, and community managers. This presentation series, developed by CAI's Nevada chapter, brings educational information to board members all around our state, and it has been developed and presented by experienced board members, all of whom have completed CAI's award-winning Decal Education Series. We thank our generous sponsors who make these free presentations possible.
So why don't you kick off and...
Well, I will. One of the things that's really important is what is the board's role and what is a fiduciary? And I'm going to read it because I want to make sure I get it right. A fiduciary is someone who owns a duty of loyalty and care as a member of the board of directors to safeguard the interests of another person or entity. And what you really have to do as a board member is make sure that you use good business judgment rule, and that if you have a question about anything, whether it's financials, you've checked with a professional. It's really, really important, especially for new board members. No one expects you to know everything right off the bat.
Now, I'm going to go through initially prohibitions. It almost sounds like we're back in the 20s here, but things that are just not allowed that a board member can or can't do. And one of the things is you can't ignore or change the CC&Rs without at least a supermajority of votes to terminate it, to change it, to dissolve it, or dissolve an HOA. And that's a very, very difficult task to do because you need the vote of the owner.
So could you elaborate on the types of meetings that we're going to be talking about today?
Well, realistically, there are only two types of meetings that we as board members really are concerned with, and that would be an open board meeting or a members meeting. I would kind of like to speak first about members meetings.
Okay.
Members meetings are normally held on a yearly basis unless your bylaws specify something different. You try to meet annually. Occasionally you get out of cycle and maybe you can't do it every 12 months. And if that's the case, why Nevada would say have it the following March the 1st. So you pick up that annual requirement there.
Okay.
The nomination forms will come back, and on that form will be a disclosure by anyone who is self-nominated that will say, for instance, I don't have a conflict of interest within the community and I'm a member in good standing.
Okay, excuse me, I'm interrupting you again, but
That's okay.
Can you clarify what good standing means, please?
Basically, good standing means you don't owe the association any money.
Oh, okay.
You're current on your assessments, and maybe you had a construction fine, but you've taken care of that. So you don't owe the association any money.
Okay, why do we build communities? What's community spirit? What's the best thing you can do? It's bringing homeowners together, bringing neighbors together. I can tell you if your neighbors don't know each other and the garage door goes up and the garage door goes down, you're not going to have a lot of community spirit. You're just not.
Yeah, you know, it's so common. You hear that a lot, where people are standing out in their driveway or putting their trash out, doing something, picking up their paper, and a car pulls out next to you, and they wave at them. They always are very friendly, and they keep right on going. But if you ask them, do you know their name of your neighbors? It's amazing how many people don't actually know their neighbor's name. Well, let's talk about how we communicate. There are a lot of different ways that we do communicate and how we're going to get across this positive idea. So what do you think some of the ideas might be?
Oh, have a website. A website is a great idea. People can log on. They can see when the meetings are. They might even have your minutes on there if you weren't able to attend the board meeting. Newsletters are a great way to get information out to homeowners.
There's all kinds of maintenance, though, isn't there really? I mean, there's not just, there's all kinds of things I can think of. Can you kind of break it down into various categories of what sort of maintenance HOAs and common interest communities have to deal with?
I think they sort of fall into 4 basic categories. There's routine, preventative, scheduled, also known as deferred or reserve, and then emergency. And that's the one you definitely want to avoid at all costs. Preventative work is what you're doing every month. It's what you're doing every quarter. You can see that in your annual budget. It's the kind of things that you want to keep track of on a regular basis, like landscaping or gate repair. But I'm looking at our reserves, and we've got this huge pot of money. Why do we need to keep contributing to the reserve?
Well, the board is responsible to maintain adequate reserves, which is a general term, which means that you will have the money there when needed. So you have lots of elements that are being maintained from time to time. You have to have the money in the bank. You can't just hope that nothing bad happens. There are some people that they're not going to stop being angry.
So why do people get mad?
Why do people get mad in a meeting? Or why do they show up mad?
Well, I don't know.
There's 2 different situations.
So tell me.
Well, the first thing is, if you think about it, the system's set up to create contention, anger, and
Really?
conflict.
Okay.
It does. There's people you've never met that you've got to talk to. They're criticizing the things you really care about.
You mean people that live around us don't know us?
They don't know us.
Wow. I didn't think
They criticize your house. They criticize your yard. They criticize how you drive. They criticize where you park.
What about pets? I
Don't
bet they
like
have
your
a
pets.
problem with that too, right?
People, pets, and parking, right?
That's it.
Well, let's look at the first thing, that there are some laws actually that, while they're a little difficult to enforce, can be a cautionary tool in a meeting to make people feel like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Laws? What kind of laws?
And these are state laws, actually.
State
They're
laws.
actually called statutes.
Oh.
And I'll just read off what it says. It makes it a misdemeanor to engage in conduct which would cause harm, emotional distress, or apprehension of harm or stress, or creates a hostile environment. This applies to everybody in the room.
What do you mean by that?
It means that if you're the president of the association and you start intimidating somebody, you're violating the law. If you are a homeowner doing that, you're violating the law. If you're anybody in that meeting.
Well, does that apply to a manager?
Applies to the manager, anybody there.